Hello guys and welcome back to the STPL. My name is Kix. I'm your cast hoster and organizer.
Your cast hoster and
Yeah,
organizer.
I'll get
Sick
that right
kicks.
one day. One day. One day I'll get that right. But joining me once again is Rapid, all the way from Seoul, South Korea, at like nearly 5 a.m. So welcome.
That's right, Kicks. It's me. I'm super happy to be back for, well, I would say another one, but I guess this is the first of these show matches that we're doing.
Yep.
It's from teams that will theoretically be a part of STPL Round 3, but we haven't quite gotten there yet, so.
Yeah, we're not far off though, only about 3 or 4 weeks away from the beginning of round 3, so I've got a lot of admin work to do in the meantime to get everything ready, but hopefully I'm going to get ahead of myself this time and be super organized. I did improve the organization a little bit in round 2, and I'm hoping to do the same in round 3 as well. I'm a little bit happier with the way all the overlays going now as well. I think it looks pretty good. And I've got a lot of the stats in there that I always wanted to get working, so I can mainly focus on the actual tournament organizing side rather than trying to code for like every day of my life. But let's have a look at what map we're going to be seeing here. Obviously not going to introduce the players individually, but let's head on over to the map stats screen to have a look at the first map, or the third map even, we're going to see here in this series. So, obviously this map is going to be, as you can see, Colosseum 2. Now, Colosseum 2 did come from the STX Masters Cup 2009, was then used in Pro League as well. Is on the Desert Tile set. There are some stats on this map already. They're actually from the Clash for Char. I may remove those, I'm not entirely sure. Just because I did that in round 2 just to make things a little bit more even. But either way, 4-player map, 4 corners. You have like this weird in-base higher ground natural. You have a very small choke heading out to some neutral creep caused by a neutral sunken. And you have a very easily defendable third base on the high ground as well. Not that many gas bases on this map. There's no additional sort of bases to push towards. If you do want to take another base, you have to take another one of the main natural and third combo. And should be a fun map to see.
Yes. No, I think it is going to be pretty fun. And this is the, like you said, they're more standard maps. So I don't know exactly what to expect between Nyoken and Castle, but this should be one of the best matchups, or pairings, rather, of the show match.
Yep, now Nyoken, of course, the Terran player, did very well. Arguably the best player on media right now. And Castle has appeared a couple of times for Ash, but here he is now on Brood War Life bwL in their first show match here. So let's head on to the game and let's get started with Game 3 of today's STPL show match. It's Media's Nyoken versus Brood War Life's Castle on Colosseum 2. Now just before I do that, I just want to respond with Herbie. Friday was a very weird day for me, and someone actually donated $100, so they beat your donation, and I genuinely do not know what to say about that. But either way, let's head on to the games. Huge thank you, obviously, to everyone who's donated, not only to the prize pool, to me as well. So let's head on over to the game, and let's get started here with the third game of this series. And starting us off here in the top right hand position, we do have in the 2 o'clock area, it's going to be the Red Protoss fighting for Brood War Life. It's Castle. Oh, and whoops,
That's right,
sorry, Herbie.
and on the bottom left-hand corner, fighting for Micromedia. This is our Terran player, Nyoken.
Yeah, and I mean, this has been a pretty interesting series so far. By the looks of it, obviously this is the first time we're seeing the teams. I get the feeling that Media and bwL might be quite evenly matched. So, I mean, we are 1-1 at the moment across 2 of the maps we've seen. We are going to see the rest of the STPL Round 3 maps in next week's show matches. but we're going to be introduced to all three of the new teams here today. And should be cool to see how Nyoken's going to do here against a Protoss player on Colosseum.
Sorry. My mic
it's
was
okay.
muted. Ah, my bad.
It's okay. It's the Showmatches, man.
The pressure is too much for me, Kix. I'm joining you here.
The production team all went home. It's just me today. What you guys don't realize is there's actually like a whole team of people working behind me that I paid millions of dollars.
Them all in his jail cell too.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Let's just go with that. Usually you have like the entire like ASL team sat in your little flat as well. So.
That's for every tournament I run, I always just I call up the ASL and I'm like, hey, you guys, work for free on Brood War Passion, right? Just come over, we'll hang out. Anybody that's actually been to my apartment knows that's definitely not possible. And probably the same thing for Kix. But yeah, this is a no production team kind of setup, so we're doing the best with what we can. So. Anyway, back to the actual matter at hand, Kix. Sorry for derailing the discussion.
That's okay, it's a show match, man. Like, whenever I watch the, like, old map tests from, like, Pro League days, like, they would do VODs of them, and you would, like, obviously I don't understand Korean, but you would just hear them laughing constantly, so I imagine they were making jokes, and obviously you'd have, like, the players, like, chatting and stuff like that, because they weren't allowed to do that normally. I mean, I think people are taking these a little bit more seriously. Obviously, back then to the pro players, like the show matches really were just a chance to mess around and do really fun builds, like people that off race and stuff like that. But we are going to see people's main races here, and it is going to be a semi-serious game, which should be quite fun.
Yeah, so just to go ahead and start things off, it's going to be a cannon expand, nothing super, I guess, crazy, but it looks a little bit weirder on this map than it would on a normal map. So in order to wall in, because there's creep, you either have to wall in a huge wall entering into your main, or you have to do what you're seeing Castle do and put defenses at your natural and in your main as well, because this is another example of kind of like a gladiator-esque low ground main.
Yeah, it's a low ground main. Most of the map is actually low ground. It's very similar in that regard to Judgment Day, but unlike Judgment Day, there are those high ground pods of the natural and third.
That's true. Yeah, it feels weird to call this a low ground because it's actually just like the regular base ground, but then there's also high ground.
Yeah, and we're going to see Nyoken take advantage of that very, very quickly. He's going to go for a factory expand, but immediately building his command center at the natural. Not really often you get to see that on normal maps, just because of the sort of layout of everything. But here we are going to see it. Now, cannon expand, very, very weird coming in here from Castle. Like, it's almost like he's playing CVP.
No, it should be noted the one cannon he does have on the high ground is super effective, right? I mean, that's just a great place to have a cannon. The downside is that I feel like it's kind of exploitable. So I don't know. I've never seen this cannon expand because I really haven't seen too much on this map. So I don't know if this is good or just absolutely terrible.
You know, one thing I can confirm to you is I've actually played Castle on this map a lot back in like 2015. It was one of the IC Cup ladder maps, so this was one of the ones I ended up being killed by him a lot on, so I know that Castle did used to have an affinity for going carriers on this map, along with pretty much every other Protoss player on IC Cup, so we are going to see Reavers. Now, Reavers into carriers are a very, very strong option for Protoss here, and I mean, this Dragoon's finally going to come out. Now, Nyoken going for a bit of a weird build himself, going straight for double Vultures, playing quite greedily, actually. Skipping tanks entirely until now is so difficult to do, and he's actually quite lucky that his opponent did go for a cannon expand.
Yeah, I never feel lucky when my opponent goes for cannon expand because I'm just like, oh wow, well they just get everything for free and I can't do anything to them.
Yeah.
But it's working out really well just because of how he is, what he is doing behind this, with his second factory up and pumping. Mine's about halfway done, and yeah, so it's gonna work out for Nyoken this time around.
Yeah, it is, and that's always a good sign. Now Castle in return is going to add on a lot of gateways behind this. He's getting up to 5 gateways already. And it is going to be a rover, but I think it's more likely going to be for observers. I've not seen a robotic support bay come in or anything like that. There is an observatory though, which I completely failed to miss, but...
You mean you
failed
succeeded
to
at missing?
Yeah, I succeeded to miss, failed to see. Wow.
We like to
But,
keep things positive, so I'm going to
yeah,
consider this a successful miss on your part.
it is. Now, Nyoken trying to push in with a nice mine going off on that Dragoon, but only going to get one of them.
Yeah, so not the smoothest mine sweeping, but at least it didn't die or anything. And this is third base coming up for our Protoss player Castle, who will once again probably be cannoning that the top of the ramp, which will make it very difficult for things like vultures to run up it. Should be pretty good. But I mean, meanwhile, Nyoken is just kind of doing what Terrans do best, and that is once mine's completed, they just send out a bunch of vultures, mine up the map, and just make it kind of annoying for the Protoss to move around.
Yeah, now he is going to put a mine at every other expansion, or at least he's going to try to. He does know that Castle is going to be trying to expand behind this, so he will have to eventually either try and take his third base himself, or push across the map. Now, we do have a scan going down to check the main and to check the gateway count as well. With 6 gates already here for Castle, it's going to be very difficult for Nyoken to move across the map. So we should see a third command center coming in here soon, and there we go, straight away, behind that barracks at the front, there is going to be this third CC.
Yeah, okay. Well, third CC coming down, but I'm always kind of curious for me, just because I suck at this, is like, how do you then use that third command center to go take a base? For Nyoken, let's see, he's only on, okay, I say only, but he's on 4 tanks right now, so I guess that could be good, but the problem is that he doesn't know whether or not, like, there's going to be anything, like, flying or dropping randomly in the back of his natural. I mean, all it takes is one scarab to explode all those SCVs, and you're like, oh, okay, well, that's pretty bad, but I think he does know that it's not the Robotech wouldn't hit quite this quickly. But oh no, Kix, what am I watching? There's a ton of probes stuck in the main.
Is there? Am I
Oh,
blind?
they just got unstuck. They had been stuck there for like a solid 20 seconds. I was starting to have a little bit of PTSD.
I think the funniest one is definitely, I think it was one of the pro games, I can't remember who was playing, but they literally had all of the, oh wow, some really nice mine connections actually by Nyoken as Castle makes a beeline across the map to try and break through this. Now, of course, Nyoken is pretty well defended. He's got the 2 tanks on the high ground with the missile turret to take out any observers. But eventually he is, as you said, going to have to try and move forward onto this high ground to take his third base. Because if he doesn't, he's just going to be stuck there forever. And that's not a position you want to be in against a Protoss player.
No, indeed it is not. That is, perhaps the worst place stuck in against a Protoss player. And it's coming, right? He invested all that into the command center, and like what I was saying, I was like, how do you get this out there? How do you go take a base successfully in this situation? And I was commenting on his tank count and how that was, pretty good, but the problem is, like, can you actually bring that to bear against this Protoss army is trying to stop? And also, if he doesn't notice this in time, his command center is going to die. So, this is going to be rough, but I want to see how Nyoken plays this.
Yeah, now Nyoken has seen the Dragoons. Luckily enough for him, the CC gives him just enough vision. It did move back ever so slightly, but he's got a mine in a very promiscuous position. Wait, promiscuous is probably the wrong word. But in a very precarious position. Very precarious position. That's a promiscuous position would be something completely different. Thinking back to what that word actually means, but I mean, it looks like we are going to have Nyoken slowly try and creep his way up here and take his third base, but this is a lot of time he's spending, and in the meantime, we do have Castle just adding on to his gateway count, adding up his tech, and here we go. Here is one of the big engagements of this game, and Nyoken's getting the better of it.
Indeed he is. Wow,
Over the zealots!
Tanks,
oh, the mine!
No! Wow, okay. So, yeah, those mines, man.
I believe
everything on the high ground, except for one tank. But the point is still that Castle lost his whole army.
Yeah, and I do believe there is a term in Korea just for that exact situation. Mind it back! Or whatever it is, I can't say it properly.
Yeah, back. Yeah.
Back. It's like...
Yeah.
The old OSL, I can't remember what his name is, the guy who used to be like the main commentator. I know he does OGN now. Sorry, LOL even. He does League of Legends.
Yeah.
But he would be screaming mine right there. He'd be like, mine, 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 mine!
Yeah. It should be noted that, so just to explain that, Taebak means like, great success, or like, wow, what a big victory, something like that.
Yeah. Very cool phrase, actually. It's... There's a lot of like phrases like that in Korean and Japanese that I'm just like, I really wish they were in English and easy enough to say, because there's so many things in English you have to say like 10 words for to get any meaning. But we are going to have Castle trying to take a 4th base now. Funnily enough, he is going to force a cannon, is Nyoken, out of Castle as he can't kill the mine. Kind of ironic, but I mean, Nyoken's sieging on top of mines again. And I mean, I'm not sure if he was there a couple of minutes ago when he lost all of his tanks. But that's a very, very dangerous position to sit.
Yeah.
Oh,
a lot of
nice
times
mine.
You'll see good Terran players kill off the mines that are near their tanks just because you will absolutely lose all your stuff when the Zealots suicide in. But here comes Castle again, and the tanks actually by the command center not sieged in time, but right as they do siege, okay, some good mine drags coming in there, but I mean, this is just a lot of siege tanks to deal with.
It is. I mean, the SCVs have actually transferred into everything. Now, Vultures... Oh, Zealots getting on top of the tanks. There's not actually that many Vultures here. Even the Dragoons managed to find their way up here, but it looks like Castle, at least for the meantime, is going to hold. But there's a lot of units coming in from Castle still, all rallying down entirely into this 3rd base.
Ooh, wow, this is just a really, really rough spot to be in. I don't know if Castle's really going to be able to break that location. He's tried twice and he's lost everything. And
there's no Vulture speed.
Yeah. Oh, ow. Wow. How did he miss Vulture speed? I guess he got mines and then just never went back to get it. Yikes.
Yeah, that's going to be a bit of a problem. He's going to try and send the Vultures over here to take out this 4th base, but he's not going to be able to get there in time. The cannon's finished. And non-speed Vultures are just so unbelievably slow. Like, they may be the fastest unit in the game when they got their upgrade, but without it, they are just... I'm fairly certain speed Zealots are quicker, although I can't confirm that.
Yeah, I think you're not wrong there, Kix.
Yeah, now this is going to be the problem for Nyoken. Now Castle is going to start adding on gateways to the other base. We are going to have a Stargate coming in for Castle. Now, is this going to be for carriers? Is it going to be for arbiters? Now, of course, recall incredibly powerful on this map. Very hard to really get your units over to defend things. Nice target firing, though, on the Zealots. Coming down from these Vultures, getting as much value out of them as they can, and speed has finally kicked in. And they're going to be able to move up onto the high ground and really force some micro out of Castle. Now, in terms of upgrades, Nyoken is already at 2-1. We do have just +1 attack here for Castle. Obviously, as you go later into the game, the Protoss upgrades don't scale quite as well as the Terran Mech ones do. But there was a very good reason why. There was a big old saying that, I mean, even in Day9's older videos, like, it's kind of expected that Protoss would use multiple armies to take down a Terran Mech pool. And that is why it's so important to have bases on both sides of the map. But here we go. Looks like Castle's going to move on down and try and take down some of these units. Now the Vulture's actually getting caught out of position. There's going to be a Zealot Bomb on top of the tanks here as well. And Nyoken may have stepped a little bit too far out of the protection of his base. And he's trying to trade as efficiently as possible. And it looks like he will do, but just barely. And I think Rapid's microphone is cut out or something. I don't know if you realize he's talking or something. Okay, I see what's happened. It's fine. So it's all looking good. We are going to have some Vultures still being efficient over the top left, but here is Nyoken pushing across the map, trying to get any damage done with his army before Castle can properly reinforce. Now, if we see Nyoken taking the high ground position here, that's going to be very, very powerful. He's going to try and get these gateways before they can start building. And is it going to work? He needs to pull his tanks as soon as humanly possible and start to put on some pressure. And here we go. Vulture's taking down the spawning Zealot. Going to be very, very good, but here it is. Here is the counter coming in from Castle on top of Nyoken's units. And this should be a very, very good engagement for Castle, but by now, Nyoken sitting back home with a lot of units. Gonna pull in some reinforcements as well. Vulture or Zealots on top of tanks, never going to be a good look for the Terran player. But I mean, Nyoken is being as efficient as he can. A nice Mind Drag again by Castle. Nyoken is falling, is being hoisted here by his own petard. But it looks like Nyoken still wants to put on the pressure. He knows he's traded very efficiently with the Protoss army, and he is going to try and take down as many of these units as possible. Great tank shots going down. Vultures, Zealots, Dragoons, tanks from all angles at this moment. And Nyoken looks like he may have got the better hand of that engagement. You can see the stream of orange heading up to the top left corner. And this is going to be a very, very strong push by Nyoken. Still, Nyoken is going to try and move into that strong position. And I mean, we've got mines at the back being triggered by the Dragoons. Looks like we don't have too much attacking the front. The shuttle's actually been forgotten about. And here we go. Nyoken going to lose another bunch of tanks, but is it going to be good enough? Castle is doing his best to hold on to this base, but it looks like it's going to go down. A nice mine at the back. And nice mines on this high ground. Going to be able to keep Nyoken's single tank alive. Oh, mine! Doesn't get the tank, but gets both the Dragoons. And that was a fairly huge mine.
I came back just in time for that. Apologies for the delay, but wow. These mines, I feel like the mine giveth and the mine taketh away, right?
Yeah.
Blessed be the name of the mine. This is just so crazy to see them be this huge of a swing. This is going to do it for Castle. Yeah, GG taps out. Wow, yeah, that was a big moment for Nyoken. He had actually just laid a whole bunch more mines right around all of these probes out in the middle of the map. Oh, what a game. Wow, really well played by Nyoken on a map I guess we don't see all that often. Yeah, he made it happen.
He did, and that was a very, very fun game, of course. Now, that is going to take us in to our fourth game, which I'm going to load up now. So let's head on over to the intro again. I know it's still the round 2 intro, but this is kind of still round 2. I'll have the round 3 intro ready for the start of round 3, so look forward to that. But let's load up the next replay. It is going to be on Benzene. Let's go over to the intro while we get in the game. So see you guys very soon.